Hi guys, I hope you had a lovely Christmas if you were doing something. Mine was very relaxed but lovely, and I am back today to do a book haul, and I don't actually think I've done a book haul in a few months, so this is a good feeling. I always enjoy that shimmying around of my bookshelves to fit in some new books. A few of the books I have here today are, of course, Christmas presents. A few aren't, but I thought I'd bung them all in together and show them to you guys. So I'll work backwards and start with the Christmas present. I got 3 books from my parents, or my dad, this year, and those are, firstly, Quintus Smyrnus's, never sure if I'm pronouncing that right, The Fall of Troy, or The Post-Homericas, it's also known. I mentioned this actually in the 'Tis the Season book tag as the book that was on my wish list, and I got it and I'm super excited because I've wanted to read this for such a long time. It is a Greek epic poem from the late Roman Empire, and it tells the story of what happened after the events of the Iliad. This is one of the Loeb classic editions, which are great because they come with the Greek and the English, so they're quite handy little study tools in that respect, as well as being a nice little book to read. My dad then picked me this book, very well chosen, and that is The Labyrinth of Dreaming books by Walter Moores, the same author of The 13 and a Half Lives of Captain Bluebeard. These are kind of wacky fantasy novels with a childish feel but written for adults, and they're so much fun and they're so funny and they're so imaginative. They were originally written in German, obviously this is an English translation, and I actually bought my dad one of his books in the summer as a thank you for help with proofreading my dissertation, because I just think they're the kind of things you'll like if you like comedy and fantasy, and I guess like Terry Pratchett. Perhaps one day though I will be able to read some Walter Moores in German, because the next book I got is Reading German, Course Book and Reference Grammar by Waltred Coles and Bill Dodd. I'm doing a Reading German course at university next term, mainly because a lot of classics scholarship and research is published in German, so it's a really important language to know if you want to go into like classical academia, and I know no German at all. I've never been exposed to it, or it was not offered at my school or anything, but I've always kind of wanted to learn German, and there's just something about the language that really appeals to me. I like the way it sounds. I have only ever been to Berlin, but I've been 3 times and love it there. And I'm just really excited. Obviously I'm not going to be reading like learning conversational German for like holidays. This is specifically about being able to read German, but I'm sure I can develop it from there. The next book was technically a present, although it wasn't a Christmas present. I left my job that I'd been at for 3.5 years at the beginning of my masters back in September, and the lovely women that I worked with, who are just some of the most spectacular people I know, got me a book voucher because they know me very well, and I spent it this month on this book, which you have seen in a couple of videos recently, and that is Faery Tales by Carol Ann Duffy, and this is a retelling of classic fairy tales by Carol Ann Duffy. Pretty standard there, but it's just such a gorgeous book, and I thought it was nice to spend the book voucher on something like this that would really contain a memory and was really special. And look at that, it's so sparkly. Once you start buying books, so it's difficult to stop, so when I was buying that with the book voucher, I did buy myself another book, and well, a graphic novel, and that is Pretty Deadly Volume 1. I heard a few booktubers talk about this, or at least one, and picked it up because it looked really good, and the art's absolutely stunning. It's a lot more arty than your like average superhero comic. I've already read this and the story was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It kind of wrapped up at the end, so it was really satisfying. However, I'm not sure if there's future volumes of this. I couldn't quite figure it out when I was searching online. I'll probably need to do a better search. So I don't know if this is just kind of the end of this series, which would be a shame because I really enjoyed it. I then received another graphic novel from the wonderful Sarah over at Clumsiness is a Curse, and that is The Wicked and the Divine. This was a Christmas present she sent me from my Amazon wishlist, which was super nice. Thank you so much, Sarah. I read this as soon as I opened it on Christmas, and it was amazing. It was so good. I've kind of been anticipating this one coming out because I've heard such good things. It is about gods, and these gods that are reincarnated, I guess, like every so many years. I think there's 12 of them, and they then obviously like appeal to the masses, and in this time they kind of present themselves as pop stars, although they tell people they're gods, but then people go to their concerts and it's a very weird mystical experience. I really like the art in this as well. This is another one published by Image. That's just like maybe like a kind of simple one. Things like this, that's our main mortal character there. The gods are absolutely stunning. Last but not least, it's actually a book I was sent by the publishers, and that is Smiler's Fair. Book 1 of the Hollow Gods. As you might be able to guess, this is an epic fantasy series, which was the initial reason I said yes, because you know how I love my epic fantasy. And it follows a moving carnival in this sort of like fantasy world. So I think that's an interesting combination of genres, and two very popular and fun genres, the kind of like circusy carnival theme and characters combined with the fantasy. It's also one of those hardbacks that doesn't have a dust jacket, much like the Faery Tales book, and I really like hardbacks that do not have dust jackets for some reason. Anyway, those are all the books I have received or picked up recently. I hope you enjoyed this book haul, and if you got any books for Christmas that you're particularly excited about, then let me know, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye guys!